My personal understanding about the origins of human life in India and spiritual teachings and spiritual understandings. Simply, there's a lot of information about folklore, mysticism, mystics, and the original masters in thought, transcendental meditation, and how, as a human species, one of the reasons why we've forgotten is because Kaljug, or Kali Yuga, pronounced, is basically a way where we are the Matrix survivors. So we have been through many forms of reincarnation, and we basically in this world now, there is some good left within us, and basically we have the chance now to put mind to the side and to conquer mind. And this is also in Buddhism, that you have nirvana, or you have that state of neutralizing materialistic mind-based thoughts. And this is all purposely driven because the universe is all about experience. So even from darkness comes light, in the sense that a lot of people get negative and they get angry, and they get, some of the feedbacks I've been getting on videos and things and emails suggests that it's all doom and gloom. Well, even from doom and gloom comes light, because when you actually really do put the bullshit to the side and you start going out, interacting with people, feeling what the collective is feeling, and understanding that everybody actually is a collective. And my personal empathic abilities have proven that to me and others around me, that there is an empathic energy field, and even it's actually transcending into people's hearts, and basically auras and energy fields right now just simply through my voice. The elite powers that be, culture creators, know this, and these are the types of things that Tesla studied, and these are the types of things that people in the East are basically very familiar with. But westernization of the world basically is to milk that and to destroy that knowledge, because as I've said before, the Western people, without saying certain phrases or words, is that that Western culture is also a waste product of the cycle of karma and dharma, where if you want to link to materialism, then you won't actually be able to perceive anything else beyond materialism. And this is what happens with a lot of people, that they're so tied up in the newspapers, they're so tied up in watching the news, they're so tied up in the houses, in the cars, and it's a concrete jungle, as in the Bob Marley song. So the reason why I've been putting certain posts like this on my website is because it's all to do with the sort of like takeover of the machines, and how that machine mind works. Now, going back to India, it was very much the opposite, because if you do your studying, and I'm going to have a lot more information coming on my website about the origins of India, and some of the actual prophecies and some of the things that they actually understand, that the year of 2012 is the dawning of the age of Shiva, and Shiva is considered to be the destroyer. Now I do actually have intel, which I can't actually entirely expose what that intel or information is, but I do know that something is definitely coming. It's not going to be a change where something's going to come out of the sky, or something where there's going to be aliens coming out of the sea. It's basically going to be a change where it's it's very quantum metaphysical. It could have some connection to the lineup of the universe, how there's a parallel existence, and how we are future versions of ourselves coming into being, and how the past is actually the future. Now, a lot of people might be able to decipher what I've just said and understand that that actually indicates that we are them. It's like looking in a mirror. We are the entities that we, think we're looking up to the heavens, but that's just basically showing us ourselves. And think of this, if all of a sudden you start tapping into abilities where your intuitive belief can make things happen, where you can actually make things possible, you have certain parts of your DNA that weren't active before. A lot of Divine Cosmos, David Wilcock's work, and the new Project Camelot interview done by Bill Holden, one of the soldiers that served in the Middle East. You'll find that it's one of the things that they're discussing, and this is something that I've always been aware of and understood, that to simply put it, it's almost like the Terminator movie where they say we've come from the future to save yous. Well, there's a sort of like a double whammy or a caveat in there, which basically indicates that that's something that's going to also happen to us. And the reason why there's so much control now, and there's this police state, and there's these new laws being passed, and new bills considering every single person as a terrorist in the US, and potentially UK police force going to be keeping arms and carrying guns and bringing the military in, and having off-world riot control measures, is all because when that change happens, it's going to be a struggle for the powers that be to hold on to the control that they've got. And going back to India, they know this was predicted. If you simply look at the Golden Age, or the predictions of Kal Yuga or Kaljug, they basically predicted that people will be eaten from takeaways, and girls at the age of 12 will be having babies, and people will be murdering each other. Now, for us today to think of somebody being murdered is normal, but at that time it just didn't happen. Because if you think that every single person that you looked at was just a reflection of you, how could you murder them? And we need to get back to thinking and believing and being like that. For these changes to happen, a lot of work needs to be done, but it can actually be done. We blame the elite and we blame the powers that be, but their existence is also an off effect of our own actions. So it's all to do with karma. And in the Indian or the Vedic or the Eastern scriptures and teachings, they know that we can actually find the light from this darkness. And how are you going to perceive what light is if there's no darkness? So it's not all bad, it's not all negative. If you actually understand what I'm saying, this is actually a gift. Even good, even bad is good, and it's just a perspective. And if you think that there's no such thing as death, and you're going to be living thousands of years down the line in different forms simply to experience the universe, then how can you perceive that this is bad? There's people like us, truth people out there, to sort of like show you the light. And it's only when people go through that cycle of negativity and trauma and problems and understanding that there's something else to all of this, that they see the light. It's almost like it's good if you believe the bullshit, because ignorance is bliss, and that's your perception. But it's even better if you step away from the bullshit in the bigger picture. So it's almost like there is a condition and an experience for every single human being, and the world is what you experience through your eyes and through your brain. You actually create the world, and if on a collective basis, if we've created a world with machines and cars and robots and systems and procedures and processes and government and rules and all of that crap, then we believe that world, and we've actually created that world. And you can't really look at others and blame other people for it, because before you actually woke up, you were part of it, and personally so was I. And in the Indian way of life, they actually look at this material existence as being death, and they look at death as the ultimate goal. And death is actually a beautiful, miraculous and amazing transformation. It's almost like, it's almost like the... It's almost like the song, you've got to lose to win. So it's almost like you've come from the light, you're going to be put into darkness simply to go back to the light. And that's just some further thoughts on this.